The time is 3 p.m. on Tuesday, August 19th of 2025. I'm calling to order the Board of Equalization. Please silence all cell phones and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today we have with us Commissioners Burmeister, Warren, Mixon, and Klug, as well as Bonnie Moore, our County Administrator, Kenneth Kaler from the Clerk and the Register of Deeds Office, Dan Pittman, our County Assessor, Jeff Meixel, our Treasurer. With that, I do want to open up. There's a copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act located in the north wall of the county boardroom. With that, I do want to open up to public comments if there is anybody that wishes to address the Board of Equalization before moving on to the remainder of the agenda. All right, seeing none, we'll move on to item 5 is the consent equalization agenda. These are items of business that are routine, which are expected to be adopted without dissent. To entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Mixon, Warren, second by Burmeister. Any comments? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Ayes 4, absent Warren, motion carried.
Absent Kelly.
Oh, sorry, absent. Got me
Can I
started.
Is that just getting us all mixed up
Yeah.
up here?
Motion carried.
I'm not the only one getting the mix-up. So that's all right. Up next, regular equalization agenda 6.1 is tax corrections 17,632 through 17,635. County Assessor Dan Pittman is here. Should we have any questions? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion.
Motion approved. Second.
Motion by Warren, second by Mixon. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Ayes 4, absent Kelly, motion carried.
Item 6.2 is motor vehicle exemption application, recommended denial 1 for Neighborhood Community Pantry for a 2020 Ram ProMaster 1500 van cargo. Jeff Meixel, County Treasurer. Welcome, Jeff.
Afternoon. Afternoon, Commissioners. This is a simple issue of them filing for an exemption out of the filing period. It's due the month in which the registration comes up for renewal. In their case, it's March 2026.
So we can't just hold it, they have to refile it?
Correct.
And that's state statute, I bet, huh?
It is.
Okay.
Our hands once again tied from a legal standpoint.
That's another one that needs to be put down probably for correction. Why would we just limit?
I'm all about helping people out and doing favors and doing this kind of thing. It becomes a slippery slope, because then I'm responsible for oversight. I might miss something, perception of favoritism, all that.
No,
So-
I'm not even asking that. I'm going back to the legislature now. Why can't we have a longer period before? Why does it have to be just the month?
I can't speak to the history of it for the legislation discussion.
Right. Okay.
That's something we can address moving forward with
Yeah, that's
proper
something like,
representatives.
I think if you would take the lead on that and discuss that with one of the state senators or with us as well, that maybe we can get that expanded to, instead of just the month before, maybe it's the month before it's due, you're able to do it. Why can't it be 90 days before?
There'd be all sorts of,
And
there
it
would be all
was,
sorts of options on that.
Okay.
it was communicated to them, right, that was what the issue was? Did you have a conversation with them about that was what the issue was? Did you have a conversation with Neighborhood?
No, did not.
You didn't have a conversation with them?
I didn't hear the whole thing. You're talking about a conversation with.
Yeah, did you let Neighborhood know that was why the recommendation was denial?
Did not.
Okay. I would encourage you to do that. I thought when we spoke before that you had talked to them. I mean, for sure, when these are coming up like that, particularly if it's missed at the window, that it's not the right timing, you should give them a call to let them know
That's
that's,
reasonable. That's a thing I can do moving forward.
yeah.
Any further discussion?
No. Motion to approve the denial. Our county treasurer is going to notify the affected party of the denial based on state statute, based on timelines that are in state statute that, so currently, they didn't need to apply this early is all. That's the way I read it. They did not need to apply this early, so they're in good standing.
They're not losing anything.
Right, okay, they're in good standing, it's just they were being proactive, doing it earlier, and we can't accept it because of state statute.
And on the back of the application is the fine print explaining all that, and a copy of the pertinent statute language.
But you're going to give them a call and let them know that's why and what their
I'll do that
timing
today.
is. That would be great.
Since we're not doing anything, why can't we just either have everybody abstain or just take no action?
The timelines in the statute, basically, the treasurer has 20 days to present the application to you. You have 30 days from the date of the hearing to make a decision to give that to the taxpayer. And that's all in the statute.
But this does not affect anything.
Overall, no. But because it's an active application, the process is outlined in the statute. It's definitely something that we could look at statutory language for to see if there's ways to streamline this process
It just
in this
makes-
type of instance.
It just makes the taxpayer redo it, that's all.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. I'm not discounting that, but that's where
But
we're
we're
at.
not denying the request. We're just saying it's not a timely request.
Yeah.
Which is still technically action.
So
Theoretically,
let's just don't take action.
the action is, like I said, 30 days. What this does is give the taxpayer, if for some reason the denial based on time were incorrect, it would give them a final decision to appeal if they chose to.
What benefit would they get from appealing
But they
it?
can't appeal it.
In
Now,
this
that's-
instance, they wouldn't. It just gives them the next step in the process in case the action taken was incorrect. I believe that's why the statutory timelines are enforced in place, so that something can't be sent to the board or to the treasurer and just have them sit on it without taking any action, leaving the taxpayer without recourse. It makes it kind of pedantic in some instances where clearly this is very clear cut. They're not due until March. If they applied in March, we would address this totally differently. But the statute doesn't have any consideration for these types of circumstances. It just has a blanket, here's your timeline. So that's what we're stuck with. But like I said, that's something we definitely could look at changing, proposing some language changes to the legislature to fix it for instances like this.
Yeah, you'd have to change two parts.
Yes.
And you'd have to change the part about it being presented to the Board of Equalization within X amount of time. That's the back end trigger. But the other trigger is the month before the first day it's due, So
Yes,
two things would have to be changed, so.
yeah.
And leaving it open, might that cause a problem when they try to reapply later?
Leaving it open today, you mean? No, I mean, they could just submit a new application. The current application, I think, would be outside the time frame, so we wouldn't be able to act on it. They'd still have to send in the new application. But when they do that at that point, as long as no use change for their organization, as long as their purpose doesn't change, they'll be approved.
So then, just for information, I'm going to abstain, simply because we're not voting on anything. There's no action that can be taken on an application that should never have been submitted. So,
An application was submitted, so I'm
yeah,
obligated by.
but you can't submit an application.
An application was submitted to my office. Because of that, I'm bound to take action on it. So I provide a recommendation to the board. The board decides.
I forget where we are. Is there
I put a motion out
Commissioner
to
Mixon,
deny.
To deny.
And
That's
is there a
motion.
second?
Did not
No,
get a
no
second.
second.
Okay, I'll second it.
Okay.
We have a motion by Mixon, seconded by Burmeister.
Yep.
Any further discussion? Go ahead, Gary.
My only comment is that the county, our treasurer is stuck, and I'm not going to let him hang. I mean, I understand what Commissioner Warren's saying, so I think we just need to go ahead and follow the statute and do what we need to do. And our treasurer will inform the party that they need to, it's denied, here's the reason, they need to come back, they can come back. I think this was this a March or an April one? I don't remember, but whatever month, they can come in the month before and redo it. So you'll fully explain that to them, tell them they're in good standing, we're all good. So.
That's fair.
Okay.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
Okay, we have A's 3, absent Kelly, and abstain Warren. Motion carried.
All right. There's no needs for executive session this afternoon. So with that, all agenda items having been addressed as published, the Board of Equalization is adjourned. All right, the time is now 3:11, calling to order the Board of Commissioners. With us today, we have Commissioners Burmeister, Warren, Mixon, and Klug, as well as our County Administrator Bonnie Moore, Kendra Kaler from the Clerk and Register of Deeds Office, Dan Pittman, County Assessor, Jeff Meixel, our Treasurer, Dory Heath, Clerk of the District Court, and Lee Polikoff, our Sudbury County Attorney. With that, I do want to open it up to public comments. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to address the board before we move on to the remainder of the agenda? All right, seeing none, we'll move to item 4, Commissioners, Administrators, comments and announcements. Commissioner Burmeister.
Nothing, thanks.
None.
None.
No comments, thank you.
All right, just a brief comment. Just last Thursday, 2 of our Veteran Services Office employees, Tim Henderson and Kendra Stakem, were awarded Quilts of Valor. It was pretty neat organization. It's a neat organization that we went to where they recognized several veterans for the service that they provided and obviously being good members of Sarpy County with that. So it was great seeing some Sarpy County employees getting awarded. It was a nice event. With that, I will move on to the Consent Commissioners agenda. Again, items of business that are routine, which we expect to be adopted without dissent. Entertain
Motion
a
to
motion.
approve.
Motion by Burmeister.
Second.
Second by Warren. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
A's 4, absent Kelly. Motion carried.
All right, moving on to our regular agenda. 6.1 is a public hearing and resolution 2025-223, Sarpy County 1 and 6 year road program for fiscal year 2026 through 2031. Deputy County Administrator Scott Bovick. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you, Commissioners. As you know, annually, every county and city across the state has to hold a public hearing and then pass the 1 and 6 year road program the week before or before the county has their budget hearing and final adoption of the county budget. So we're here today to talk through, just at a high level, the 1 and 6 program. I have a few slides to go through. And then we do have the full document that's been published on the, with this agenda item that will also be published on our website so that anyone can see it during the course of the year. So the place to start with the 1 and 6 year old program is the financing and how we're going to finance this package. So the sources we're going to use: cash on hand from existing revenue sources. As you know, the highway allocation revenue is our primary source of funding. We also receive contributions from development. We receive some state bridge and road buyback funding. All those are part of the financing package. The other thing that the board has done in the past, and we're going to continue to do, is look at bonding as a strategy to get projects done sooner to beat inflation. And the board has officially authorized that we can have a debt service annual payment of up to our 100% of our annual highway allocation funding. So that's kind of the financing guidelines or the limit that we've placed on ourselves. Then we're committing to the rating agency that we have a self-imposed limit on the amount of debt that we'll take. I don't have an amount or timing for each of the bond issues that we're looking at, but I do want the board to know that we're going to stagger those bond issues and maybe 2 or 3 over the next 6 years. The first one's likely next year, but we really want to get a handle on our cash on hand. And as you know, we've been seeing bids come in very well, very good numbers. So as we have our couple large projects that are driving this 1 and 6 year program and the need for bond issuance, we should have a better feel for those prices at the end of the year, and then we'll start making some decisions about next year. Overall, the 6 year program includes $298 million worth of available funding for projects. So this is a quick list of the major projects. We'll walk through each of these real quickly. As the board knows and the public knows, the South Sarpy Expressway has been a major priority for the county, the cities of Sarpy County, and we believe the state and the Omaha metro area. So we've allocated $113 million towards the expressway. Project 1, which is the full expressway from approximately 10th Street to 42nd Street, still have a tentative budget number of $100 million. That project should have good pricing and good cost and good budget to it probably by the end of October, maybe into November. And that's to do that construction. Then we have set aside $13 million for ongoing design and corridor protection to continue to plan for the rest of that corridor. We're at the point now where we're going to start talking about the South Sarpy Expressway separate from Platteview Road. They're going to be becoming 2 different things, but we do need to do things with Platteview Road. Remember, the expressway will be built off alignment. Platteview Road will serve as a frontage road, so it's not getting thrown away or torn up, so we still need to make investments on it. We've allocated $14 million, do intersection improvements. HDR, the county engineer's office, are monitoring those intersections. If there's traffic issues or things that need to be done, we can make enhancements at those intersections. We do have a concrete panel repair and some asphalt surfacing that we'd like to do on the stretch of Platteview Road from 42nd to 84th Street. And then looking west of Highway 50, we're approaching the time where we need to do an overlay on that stretch of Platteview Road as well. And I will say those last 2 bullet points, we have received MAPA funding to do the concrete panel repairs, and we plan to continue to ask for and receive money to do the asphalt overlay from MAPA's federal funding allotment. 168th Street's another important project. We have $19 million in the program. That's for ongoing design of the entire corridor from Highway 370 to Harrison, but also includes what we're calling a interim project, which is to do the railroad bridge. We're still working through the ability to do that with the Nebraska Department of Transportation, but we think that bridge can't wait until the full project's done. It needs attention in the next few years. Need to continue to position this project for federal funding. That's been the strategy all along, and it's working. MAPA has programmed $27 million in fiscal year 2031 for us to use. Obviously, there's a local match with that, but that gives us a pot of money, not a pot of gold, but a pot of money at the end of here that we can start planning for, do design, do right of way, so that we have construction ready, funds ready for us when we want to build it. 156th Street from Schramm to Capehart. This area, you can kind of lightly see the drainage basin there. This is that key area for the sewer agency, industrial development area for the city of Papillion, Springfield. Gretna is also on the northwest side of that, all kind of going to the west to approach a future interchange. Another big project. The exciting thing, I guess, about this project is we already have about 50% of the cost committed from private development to fund this project. So we're going to see the return on investment right away, plus more development will occur, and that'll help the sewer agency generate revenue for that project. Northwest Sarpy Road Network, we'll talk about a bid that we got here in a little bit, but again, this is an attempt to serve a rural area of the county that's had growth, has some unique features in terms of Gretna's high schools purchased a site out there, or Gretna schools purchased a site. Lost Roll Golf Course is there. Gretna Soccer Club. It's a rural estate, but it does have quite a few developments out there, and the road network just needs attention. And then, it's also important to set aside money to do annual maintenance and smaller projects that we're not listing today. we try to set aside about $1.5 million a year for bridge replacement. That usually lets us get one bridge a year. We're typically doing 2 at a time over 2 years. Concrete panel repair, every year we do about $500,000 worth of that work. Asphalt overlays, we have a plan of the next few years prioritizing those overlay roads, those asphalt roads that need an overlay. Arterial streets, projects come up as developments occur. We have money set aside so that we can program that as those projects come in. And then because of the significant size of the program, we are setting aside a $2 million construction contingency each year. Bids have been good, so we haven't really had to use that, but we also want to have some flexibility if things come up or our prices change on us.
Can I ask one question on the bridge replacement? $1.5 million seems awful low. Just for the simple fact, I know we got quite a few bridges and they're aging. And I heard you say we try to do 2 bridges. We're getting some money from that bridge fund from the state of Nebraska. But are we, do we need to support that with more money? And the reason I'm asking, because I know we have some bridges that are probably going to be needing significant repair.
So if you think about $1.5 million a year, $3 million for 2 years, that's going to get you 2 bridges. The other thing I would say is some of the bridges that are on that priority sheet that need to be addressed are contained in other projects. So if you're looking at the full project by project listing, you'd see a project called 132nd and Flug Road. That Flug Road bridge just to the west of Highway 50 is our #1 priority bridge. That bridge has been received budgeted program funds somewhere else. Okay. And so I think we should get you the list of what we've done over the last 5 or 6 years. I think we've addressed the top 20 bridges. The County Bridge Match Program used to do $100,000 a bridge. Now it's up to $550,000 a bridge. I will talk with the county engineer about submitting that Flug Road bridge maybe in there to get some funding for that.
Because I know several years back we did an assessment of the bridges,
right,
and ranking them. And so you say 20, the top 20 that needed addressing have been addressed.
For the most part, Flug Road's #1. And so that, it wasn't when we first started, but because we've addressed those others, it's become #1. And I would say in 2021, we did that first ranking. In 2023, we updated that. In 2025 or late 2024, we did it again. And so that we use that priority ranking to deal with it. Some of those bridges were part of the Connect Sarpy West Giles project. Some of the bridges have been annexed by the cities and become their responsibility. And then there is some maintenance and work that does happen by the County Engineer of Public Works that maybe, redoes the surface of the bridge, and that maybe moves that number down.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think the funding's adequate. I think we have a good plan there. When we're, one of the other projects that's in your listing is, we're calling it the 192nd Street bridges. There's 2 bridges north of Platteview that are starting to get more development on them and need to be addressed. Those 2 will be replaced in the next year. So $1.5 million is kind of a programmed amount, but we're funding bridges in other places as with other projects.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that explanation. I think it's maybe the wording. It says bridge replacement, but it's under maintenance. We're talking maintenance on the bridges because I don't know if there's a bridge out there that you can, unless it's some of the small ones, that you could actually replace for $1.5 million, or maybe I'm wrong.
I think so. If you go to some of the rural parts of the county, you take out the old fracture critical or whatever they're called, and you go back with a culvert. It can be done for $1.5 million. But I think what we try to do is, at the very least, package 2 together. Okay. In the area, make it more efficient. But again, with the pricing we've had and the ability to do some of the bridge work over the winter months, I think $1.5 million can get a bridge done.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you. And it's really helped that we've really made a lot of progress on the bridges. So great, thank you.
Yep. And then I do, there's a lot of folks involved in everything road project. And so just want to always thank everybody on this list. Obviously, the county engineer's office, Katie and Emily Communications, the county attorney's office is helping us collect money and do interlocals, fiscal purchasing. Then obviously we have lots of partners that we rely on, that we interact with. To make these projects work. Eric Kreiner with the GIS department, and then private partners. I mean, we're lucky in Sarpy County that the development community is willing to participate in roads. The engineering firms are great to work with, and we've got a lot of different construction firms that want to do projects. So it's a real good team, and we're getting a lot done with a pretty lean team, and excited to execute on this $300 million over the next 6 years. So that, happy to answer any questions you have. It is a public hearing. So.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah, this is a public hearing. Do you want to open it up if there's anybody that wishes to address the board? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and open up for any discussion or questions from the board.
No, just a comment. Scott, thanks for your work on this, as well as Zach and Danielle. It's unbelievable the amount of money that it takes to get things done. But even this Northwest Sarpy project, where we did the original Gretna project, 180th, 192nd, this is going to be very akin to that, in that it's going to be infilled within the next 5 to 7 years. So payback will come quickly, but thank you very much for your work.
I would second those comments, and Zach and Danielle, my apologies for not recognizing you at the beginning of the meeting. So thank you for being here today. All right, let's see. Any action? Yes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Did you close the public hearing?
Yes, I do.
Okay, sorry.
Motion from Mixon, second by Warren. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
A's 4, absent Kelly, motion carried.
All right, up next is Resolution 2025-217, award the low bid to Chase Verana and Sons Construction Company for the road improvements to Giles Road, Northwest Sarpy Road Network Project, C7725-14, in the amount of $1,381,198.40. Once again, Scott Bovick, Deputy Administrator.
Thank you, Commissioners. And again, this is to award the lowest responsible bid to Verana and Sons Construction for the Giles Road project, which is part of the Northwest Sarpy Road Network. Verana's bid was $1,381,198.40. The low bid was, or the engineer's estimate was $2,062,860. And again, we had 6 bids on the project. So again, lots of interest on the projects. So you've seen this Giles Road section of the Northwest Sarpy Road Network. And one of the things that I know the board recognizes is how difficult it is to do projects in these rural areas, because you don't have detour routes, you're limited on the ability to do phasing. And so what becomes really important is our ability to work with the individual property owners who are impacted by this and have their road shut down, have to go on a shoe fly road or an off alignment road, which makes it a real big inconvenience for them, especially when some of these projects go over the course of the winter and they have to navigate some of those roads. So we're always really sensitive about that. And working with these property owners that have been out here, they're going to be hugely impacted. The other thing about Giles that's important to note is this is a very time-critical project. Harrison Street is now closed. Cornhusker Road, you remember you just you awarded a bid last week to get that project going. We need Giles and Cornhusker both open to traffic by the end of this year to be able to do other segments, to be able to have folks be able to navigate through this area safely. And so again, December 31st would be when this the milestone number 1 of the project. The road would be paved, striped, and signed so it can be open open. Next week, you'll have on your agenda an agreement with JEO. They're the consulting firm that's been helping us on this network. Been doing a really good job, going above and beyond. They also understand our customer service approach and working with folks. I know Zach Hergenrader with the County Engineer's Office and Dan Sartorius with JEO are going to go meet with every single person out there and talk to them about their specific needs, make sure those lines of communication are open. It's just kind of, I guess, the board's expectation of how we do projects here. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. I know Zach can as well. I would recommend approval of the Verana bid.
Thank you, Scott. Any discussion from the board? Entertain a motion.
Does Zach have any comments, or are you all right? I'm okay with it. Okay, all right, thank you. I make a motion to approve.
The motion by Warren,
Second.
second by Burmeister. Any further discussion from the board? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
We have all ayes?
Yep.
Okay, and then Kelly's absent, motion carried.
All right, with that, there's no need for executive session this afternoon. So with that being said, all agenda items having been addressed as published, the county board is adjourned.